Did you know that despite a 50-50 representation in the ad industry, women are scarce among the creative elite? Although some companies like to report overall numbers when discussing diversity in the workplace, they're typical to hide the fact that women and minorities dominate the bottom ranks of organisations, whilst leadership and power remain predominantly to the white and the male. As a whole, creative and cultural industries unfortunately show strong patterns of exclusion, segregation, and a lack of diversity. What comes to mind when you think of diversity? Is it genders or race, sexual orientation, or is it so much more? Did psychological diversity come to mind? Negative stereotypes on differently abled or overweight people? These barely scratch the surface of what warrants discussion into the complicated intricacies of diversity. So due to the lack of awareness and understanding, is this why there's such a diversity problem within the creative industries? The creative industries are stuck in an uphill battle to find genuine equality and inclusion due to mundane and outdated ways of thinking. The beauty of being creative is that it's not a special skill limited to very few individuals, nor does it biologically favour any race or gender. Data has shown that lowering the barriers to inclusion within the workplace has a multiple benefits to individuals, companies, and economies. So, if indeed success was solely the result of creative brilliance, shouldn't everyone have an equal chance? And shouldn't the creative industries mirror the whole population and not just a select few?
When considering diversity in the workplace, leaders need to value gender, race, differently abled, ethnicity, psychological diversity, age, sexual orientation, and much more. Minorities are continuing to have token representation within the creative industries, and this is largely due to the systematic barriers built by management practices and leadership gaps that perpetuate the status quo. So what is stopping the industry from making change? It's culture. People believe in 3 cultural values: equal opportunity, meritocracy, and personal responsibility. These values create the specific beliefs that individuals hold on to. These beliefs become so powerful that the negative statistics or reality of context is then hidden. Living immersed within cultural norms without questioning the range of alternatives is what keeps stereotypes and bias. Leaders need to be aware of the potential influence that this can have on their judgments, choices, and actions. Types of bias include intentional bias, which is a conscious and calculated choice, such as hiring based upon appearance or common interests. Invisible bias, this is an unconscious decision that leads to the minority failing, such as a cultural assumption. And organizational bias, this is a reflection of leadership decisions, such as skewed organizational structures or promoting individuals that are similar to the leader. The creative industries is a successful sector, but it is lacking in diversity. With little incentive to change what comes across as working, it makes it difficult for equality to be achieved. It is time to change expectations and break biases. It is time to get uncomfortable in an aim for better diversity. Differences in age, race, ethnicity, and orientation all bring valuable cultural competencies, experiences, and perspectives to the workplace.
Where can we look to advance further with diversity in the creative industries? There are varying factors that need to be addressed. Malia includes how true diversity requires commitment and sustained action, awareness and diligence, as well as re-examining industry practices. Each component of this statement is supported by the following. The re-evaluation of the creative industry's practices can be analysed by its lack of attempt with mentoring, sponsors, and internships. Firstly, an obvious yet important solution to creating greater diversity in these sectors is looking beyond just men, as is typically targeted at this demographic. Caucasian men specifically. Without a more balanced pool of participants, a lack of diversity will always exist. With this, it can be added that recruitment follows a similar rule where you won't find different results by targeting the same demographic of people. Commitment and sustained action could be channeled through a solution similar to what Sweden has actioned before. This simply involved the mandatory use for male parents to take parental leave in assisting their partners. Ultimately, this can offer more opportunities for women in excelling through their work, which would assist the goal to balance out diversity in the creative industries. Malia also states that exceptionalism masks reality, and that is a continuing issue that diversity faces in the creative industries. You may be able to find women or minorities excelling in any role, but this cannot prevent the course of action to pursue diversity further. This is the importance of awareness and diligence. There is always more to be actioned for a more diverse industry and seeking inclusion.